morning. Welcome back to the Wilder Hope. Thanks for joining us. I'm CJ and I'm walking through town centre because we are starting the 66-mile Vanguard Way this morning. It's a 66-mile trail that runs from East Croydon Station, of all places, down to Newhaven on the coast. And the reason I don't have a full pack on currently is because I'm lucky enough that my sister lives about 20 miles into the trail, just off the trail. So we're going to stop there for the night and continue on with a couple of nights of camping in the Ashdown Forest. And we've got another campsite booked between Ashdown Forest and Newhaven. So it should be really varied. We're going to hit the North Downs Way, cross the South Downs Way, go through the Ashdown Forest, which is home of the Winnie the Pooh. We'll see, I don't know if we'll get to see Pooh Sticks Bridge, but we go right by the 100-acre wood. Hope you enjoy this adventure. It obviously doesn't start off that exciting, but every trail's got to start somewhere. So again, glad that you're here with us, and we'll catch you once we get out of this monstrosity. So we're out off the roads, we walked through this beautiful park, but just came across this community garden right here. So I think we can go take a look. It's a walled garden, so but what it does say right here, Friends of Park Hill Community Garden. It's all volunteer work. So I think we're actually where we're at, but kind of gives you an idea. So we'll just have a quick walk around and have a look at what's here. Well, already made our first mistake of the day. That didn't take long. Following the sign, it looked like it went through the park. It doesn't actually go through the park, but it was a nice detour. It's much nicer going that way, going through that park, seeing that garden, even though it needs a little bit of care. It doesn't look like it's had that much done with it for a while. So we're just gonna make our way back and rejoin the trail and avoid the roads, which I have no problem doing. So the Vanguard Way came about from the Vanguard Ramblers, which was a London-based walking group who spent a lot of time walking on the South Downs. And after a hard day of walking, their favourite place was to go was to the Barrack Inn, next to Barrack Station in East Sussex. Is now, or it was at the time, called Fuller's Arms. And over copious amounts of an alcoholic apple beverage of some kind, the idea for the Vanguard Way was formed. So we have some apple cider drinking drunks who loved walking, who came up with this wonderful idea of a trail to walk from London to the south coast. And I'm hoping what we see is as epic and as beautiful as what they intended it to be. Now it has been routed and rerouted a few times, changes made, but it still has the same essence of the way they planned it in the 1960s, late 1960s. we're just coming up on Little Heath Wood, which is 25 hectares of ancient semi-natural woodland just outside of Croydon, which quite unexpected, I must admit. So we're going to cross through Little Heath Woods, Foxhurst Woods, and come out the other side, going out at Addington Road. But should be quite nice through there. We'll see what else they have to show us. So the history of this wood and field were dedicated to the public space in 1932 after being purchased by Croydon Council, Coulsdon and Farleigh Council, and money raised by the public, which is quite cool. What's really cool about these little pockets of woodland all over London, southeast, is it really does give those who live in the city, in the towns and the suburbs surrounding London, a chance to really get out and get that connection with nature, rebalance mental health, great opportunity for physical health. That a lot of inner cities or large cities just don't have. And yes, there's a lot of them do have parks and things like that, but having these woodlands, these heathlands just tucked away for everybody to use is just a lovely opportunity that benefits everybody. So we're just entering Selsdon Wood Nature Reserve, which is an 81 hectare area of woodland and old farmland that used to be part of the Selsdon Park Estate for hunting and shooting. In the 1920s it was broken up into small holdings, and then there was some concern by the community, the local residents, that it would end up being developed and they'd lose this ancient woodland. So the council, the community came together to buy this 200-acre, 81 hectare area of land to preserve for the future generations. And this board behind it sort of gives us an idea of what we might see in here, what kind of wildlife we would expect. We're going to head on that way, but it's about not even quite 9 o'clock yet, so we're doing pretty good on time. As much as I'm really liking these trees, it's supposed to be a ridiculously hot day. It's why we started so early. Really appreciating the shade, although we've got quite a lot of cloud cover, and I'm hoping that stays. It's just about doable for me and for the dogs. It does get a little samey after a while, and there's nothing to show you. No views. It's either forest or trees that we're walking through, or council estates or housing developments or long roads, which isn't particularly exciting. But this is the first part of the Vanguard Way, so if you want to do it, you've got to accept that this is what you're going to be seeing initially, which I would definitely recommend. Starting here, don't end here, end at New Haven, walk along the coast. Really looking forward to that. It's supposed to be beautiful. Okay, so it's obviously not just me, because other people have put grass and rocks in this, but does this look like a dragon to you? I mean, it's quite cool, but quite funny. So I hope somebody else sees that, not just me looking at it. So we finally put the city behind us, and we are just getting to Farley golf course. That's on the left-hand side. We got farm field behind us. Quite a nice thing to see after all the buildings. So I think we're about mile 6 at this point. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. I knew what to expect with this trail, and that's why I kind of wanted to show the nitty-gritty of the first part, just so you don't walk into it expecting a really pretty route from the get-go. That first few miles definitely dips into and out of some really nice woodland and parks and things, but you've definitely got to deal with some road walking, London traffic, London buildings and skyscrapers. But it's definitely really nice to leave that behind. We're at St. Mary the Virgin Church for Farleigh, but quite an unusual church, and it's not stone or brick. Cute little graveyard. Oh, that's the wrong word for a graveyard, isn't it? You can see how old that gatehouse, or not gatehouse, that foyer is. It's tiny. That just looks awkward, Cody. Good boy. So we got some blackberries, but some of them look quite weird. They look very malformed, but you know what? I'm still gonna eat one. Really good. No bugs, I hope. If there were, just a little bit more protein, which I could do with, because I noticed since I've left Croydon train station, there hasn't been a single place to stop for water or for food. So just bear that in mind. You won't find anywhere. This so far hasn't really gone through. It's gone through, neighborhoods, but no stores, which is not good, because that's kind of what I was relying on for breakfast. Haven't actually eaten anything yet today, so I'm hoping that we can find something up here. But if not, we're not going to die of lack of food. It's not like we're out in the sticks somewhere. And there's always blackberries. So you've really got to look out for these little signs. They're quite hidden. There's another white arrow, but almost missed this one. Hiding on the end of the bus shelter by the school. I just caught it. So I'm cutting through this way. And we are about to pass a pub through here, but it's a little early to stop. They won't be open. Doubtful we can get any water there, but we'll just double check. So here we've got another very hidden, very small placard for the Vanguard Way. That means we need to go this way. So we've established how the Vanguard Way got its name, but the question remains, how did the Vanguards get their name? Now it's an interesting question. It started out as a trip to, I believe, the southwest. They couldn't all fit in the train car, so some of them ended up in the guard's van. I believe some whiskey was passed around, and that is how the rambling group from London ended up with the name the Vanguards. Hence the name the Vanguard Way. So I just found something super exciting. We have wild raspberries. So we're gonna pick some of those. Wild raspberries. They're really, really good too. One of my favorite fruits, wild raspberries. Don't see them very often compared to blackberries, so now that I know they're out here, I'm gonna keep my eyes out for them. Ooh, that does not feel so great. It's gonna be interesting to get the dog driver. Let's see. I think we're gonna have to throw them over. Well, that wasn't very well signposted at all. It was Barnard's Lane or Bernard's Lane. Follow it all the way to the end. There's no sign for the turn off. and the path is almost invisible. So just before you get to Owl Pen, I think is what it was, cottage, you need to make sure you turn left where there's a kind of a car parking space and go through the trees, and then you'll see that stile we just had to navigate. We'll drop you out into a large pasture, which is really pretty actually. Thankfully I had somebody working in one of the gardens point me in the right direction, otherwise I would have completely missed it. But yeah, again, not the most well signposted trail. Needs more signs. So yet again, we've come across another trail, the Greenwich Meridian trail, which we are currently following at the same time as following the Vanguard Way. We're about to drop down off this hill, and I believe right in front of us are the North Downs, which we have to climb up and over, because I can just about hear the M25 on the other side of that. So, and then we should be to Oxted. Yay! Finally a dog gate that's actually big enough for the dogs. See if we can get this one. And then followed on by one that doesn't have a dog gate at all, but somebody's already made one because there's a big old hole under the fence there. Just checking the weather. Currently 80 degrees, so whatever that works out in Celsius for the British that are watching. That was about 11:30. It's almost noon now. Predicted to get up much warmer. Dogs are just about doing okay. They're not excessively panting, but I've made the decision to extend my trip by a day. I'm going to stop at Oxted, and I will come back tomorrow to finish it up, and then we'll do the final 3 days once it's cooled down after today and tomorrow. So I've called the campsite, postponed my campsite for a night, and 65 miles might have been pushing it for 4 days anyway. For us, I was carrying all the dogs' food too, because I didn't want them to be carrying anything when it was warmer. So yeah, just extending the trip by a day. Not gonna hurt my feelings to be out here for a day longer. But yeah, so that's the plan. My dogs did get the train, and then we're back here first thing in the morning when it's cool to finish this one section out, and then the last 3 days to New Haven. All right, someone needs to tell me just how long this fence and this tree have been here to have them grow together in such a manner. This is the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. Good morning. We are on day 2 of the Vanguard Way. Had a pretty good night, sleeping in a real bed. Don't get to do that very often when I'm doing a long trail. So that'll be nice. Do the same thing again tonight. And then we'll be camping the last 3 days. So we're back out, beautiful morning. Much cooler, much more pleasant to be walking in this. Not hard on the dog, not hard on me. Man, look at this view to our right. A little hazy, which makes it hides the hills a little bit, so really, really pretty right now. A bit of a breeze, which is lovely, helps keep everything cool. But we've only got about 5 miles to do, so it shouldn't be too long today. And then yeah, onwards to the coast. So I just came across this plaque where both the Vanguard Way and the North Downs Way cross the Greenwich Meridian line, which I think is quite cool. So we were in the Western Hemisphere. We are going to cross into the Eastern Hemisphere. All new territory, all new ground. Who knows how things will go. So here ends our very short, very sweet love affair with the North Downs Way while being on the Vanguard Way. It's going that way, we're going that way, but it was lovely while it lasted. So it's another trail we will be doing at some point, but let's head south. Well, we just had a bit of a disaster. Okay, maybe not disaster, it's probably too big of a word for it, but when I stopped to grab a bite to eat, which was a weird breakfast of a cheese and chili chutney sandwich, I must have set the dog leashes down and I left them there, and I have very little to make do with, so I've got my camera strap and a lanyard that I'm having to make do with for road crossings and things like that. So at least I've got something, but I find that very irritating when I do that. It's usually attached to my pack, so I don't drop it or leave it behind, but unfortunately we still have some road walks to do over the next 5 miles, 4 miles, so really frustrated with myself. That's a whole lot of pheasant. So this right here is why we are seeing so many pheasant. It looks like we're in a pheasant farm. It's a feeder, so they're congregating around these feeders like crazy. It's the first one I've actually seen walking along here, but hundreds of these birds through here. So and I'm seeing enclosures back there, so they've been raised for a while. Just reached Limpsfield Common over here, which is a National Trust common, National Trust property. There's also a house down here. Come on. Daddy, come on. There's all National Trust owned through here. Beautiful area, walking through the trees back there. Looks like they're getting ready to play a game of cricket over here. Getting all set up and ready to play. Looks like there's going to be a good day for it. Not a hot one though. So yeah, this poses a little bit of a problem to go through the gate. And this guy right here is a bull. So we are on the back track slightly. So we're more or less at the end of today's walk anyway. It was just a case of whether I was going to take this road and down or one more field and walk across. So that right there kind of tells me what I'm doing, because I'm not about to force my way through that lot. So yeah, that's the end of today, and I will see you first thing in the morning.